I can say that this is my first time to ever have put a program together with a circuit board and gotten something to work. To say that I was quite pleased is really an understatement. But as I set forth in this task with a lot of trepidation, I was really worried that I wasn't going to get it to work. I was reliving experiences from the past where I could never get them to work, connect, um, and do what I had intended for them to do. So, fast forward to today, after downloading the driver and all the software ahead of time, I opened up the box and I took out all the wires and all the other small components and pieces that were in that box. Um, and as you can tell from over here where you have the board and the breadboard, I have my wires connected. And please note that this picture that you see is once I got the original LED to blink as intended. This is afterwards when I had added the extra LED and was trying to get different things to happen through our extensions. Um, I have everything connected where it's supposed to be, and I'm grateful for the pictures that were in the guidebook that came with the kit. Or I'd still be sitting at my kitchen table trying to figure that out. I still have questions about um, things like the ground wire, why ground wire goes to negative along with the resistors. I can understand why the LED has part positive, part negative, but some of these things still don't quite make sense to me. And in this picture, the black wire that you can kind of see right here is the one that's hooked. It's actually hooked up to the power right here, and this is part of that extension where we took it out of the positive to see what would still happen. But once I got this part set up, and I knew that my diagram or my setup matched the pictures in the guide, I turned my attention to the program. And I know from looking at it, if I open up like a new one, when I first opened it, I was kind of like staring at a blank canvas without a clue where to start. And I know from the instructions that it said to just type in what was there, the code that was there. But my brain couldn't get past what to do with the stuff that came up um, initially. Do I type it within here? Do I type it here? Where do I put what's in there? And even though I read through that code multiple times and through here, I was really stuck. So I did what we were told not to do, to at least start somewhere, and I copied and pasted. Of course, it didn't work because I didn't have it right. And so, given that I didn't know where my errors were, I went to YouTube to look for a basic on how to set up what we were doing. And once the instructor kind of went through a little bit of um, what was going on and some basics, I knew where my mistakes were and I knew where I messed up. So I didn't need the video after that. So I ended up taking out the spots where there were the double forwards because I realized those weren't functions or commands. It was more information or notes. And I probably will use that next time to keep up with what I've done or what the purpose of each thing is now that I understand that better. So then I went back and deleted everything I'd copied and pasted and came back in and kind of pulled up the code next to this screen so I could see what I needed to do. In that process, I realized, verifying and having errors, that there were little things that were missing, like a semicolon, parentheses, or even having the brackets with curly little brackets in the wrong spots. So once I got everything in and lots of verifying, um, it finally stopped giving me an error, and it worked, and it lit up, and it was blinking. I was very super excited. So from there, I went in and started looking at the way all the wires were set up, wondering, why the things are the way they are. And then I started looking back at the code over here, realizing, okay, pin mode, because these are pinned in, um, certain spots, output, we want something to happen. We're going to put this code in, and as a result, I want a light to blink. And then the loop means I want it to do this thing on a loop without stopping. And so realizing high was for on, of course, it said this all in the code. It just started to really make sense once I got it to work. I did go in and Google because I was wondering why it was 1,000 was supposed to be representing a second, and then I figured out that was representing 1,000 milliseconds is a second. And from there, I actually started playing at this point by changing these numerical values around, before jumping into the playing parts and the extension parts that were in our assignment. I really enjoyed this, learning this, and I'm glad that I figured it out. And I really am looking forward to doing more.